Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about riding motorcycles in Colombia. It's a mix of chaos and freedom. Some days it feels like the best way of getting around, cutting through traffic, parking anywhere and paying next to nothing. Other days it feels like you're dodging disaster at every turn. Today I'm going to be showing you what it's really like to ride down here, what makes it exciting, what makes it straight up dangerous. So the first thing I want to speak about is traffic laws. Traffic laws. Colombia has traffic laws, but whether they're enforced, that's another thing. You'll see people running red lights, making illegal U-turns, and cutting across lanes like it's nothing. Even the cops don't seem to care half the time. If you follow the rules, you might be the one in danger, actually, because nobody else is really playing by them. There's some important things to know that you're gonna pick up, but mainly here there are two different types of law enforcement. There are traffic enforcement officers and there's regular police officers. Regular police officers are not really gonna be worrying about what you do in traffic, more so the blue enforcement officers. Now those guys could give you a hard time, but it's mostly due to like parking infractions. They don't really have clocks to measure your speed. So speeding is a common thing. Merging and kind of driving recklessly is kind of common. Merging in between lanes without traffic signals. Motorcycles driving in between cars. It's a norm over here. But those guys don't really pay attention to much things like that. One thing that they are sort of strict on is your paperwork on the motorcycle or car that you're riding on. So make sure that all of that is up to date, current, and showing your actual documentation for the actual vehicle that you're riding on. And the next thing you want to worry about here in Colombia while driving is the road conditions. 1 second you're cruising on a perfectly paved road, the next, boom, big old pothole. In smaller towns you'll find cobblestone streets that shake your bones, and if it rains some of the roads turn into like ice rinks. Stay alert or you'll be sliding into someone's fruit stands. Third is no one uses turn signals. If you're expecting people to use turn signals, forget it. It's like they were never invented here. People change lanes out of nowhere, make turns without warning, and if you're not paying attention, you're done. Fourth, motorcyclists ride like they own the road. Motorcycles here are basically water. They flow wherever space is available. Riders will cut between cars, shoot up in traffic, and sometimes even ride the wrong way if it gets them ahead. If you're not aggressive, you're gonna get left behind. And 5, while we're talking about bikes, your bike, you think your bike is full? 1 or 2 passengers, try a family of 4, plus groceries, try the dog. I've seen all sorts of setups down here. People load their bikes like they're moving an entire apartment. Number 6 is motorcycle accidents are big. Since there are so many bikes, when you see a fatality, when you see a motorcycle accident aside, most of the time it is a fatality. When you see how people ride, it makes total sense. Speeding, reckless lane changes, ignoring all traffic signals is all norm down here. If you're gonna ride, you gotta stay sharp. And the next thing I notice is speeding is the norm. Speeding is the norm down here. Most riders here treat the speed limit like it's a suggestion. So you'll see guys blasting past a traffic light at crazy speeds, dodging cars, and like I mentioned, the bikes specifically getting in between cars. And the younger the rider, the faster they go. It's all good until it's not. No fear, no caution. So some riders down here, that's the 8th one. Some riders down here, they act like they're invincible. They'll cut across all lanes, squeeze between the trucks and buses. You'll see them a lot of times under the buses as well. But you'll see guys flying even in bicycles down the hills. No fear down here, no fear. That's the next thing I noticed when riding. Number 9 is the freedom of riding out here. So let's get to a positive. For all the craziness, riding in Colombia does have its perks. You know, you're not stuck in traffic. Toll booths, you don't pay if you're in a motorcycle. And parking is very cheap. Costs pennies most of the time. So there's a reason why most people do ride on a motorcycle down here. You'll find women, teenagers, men, and everybody of all ages riding motorcycles. It's just a convenient way to ride around. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the weather. While you're, enjoying that freedom, make sure that you're packing something to get yourself, coated up. If it starts raining, the weather here is very unpredictable. Rain is no joke. Roads get slippery fast, and in some areas, landslides do happen. If you're riding and you see some dark clouds forming, find shelter, or just get ready for a rough ride. But just make sure to hunker down. So, is riding in Colombia insane? Yeah. Is it worth it? Absolutely. If you can handle the madness, is the best way to get around. Just keep your head on a swivel, ride defensively, and don't try to carry your entire house on a bike like they do. If you've ridden here before, let me know your craziest experience in the comments. And if you're thinking about trying it, just be ready. Stay safe out there, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. See you on the next one.